So many wander through life asking, why does love keep avoiding me? They chase it in faces, in touches, in temporary highs, yet remain starved. They pray for connection, but receive silence, and it is not because love is cruel. It is because love is wise. Love does not come to rescue you. It comes to reveal you, but only after you've become willing to see yourself. What we call falling in love is often a psychic projection, a casting of inner material onto an outer form. You see a person and feel an immediate pull. They say something that stirs you. Their presence ignites longing, fascination, maybe even obsession, and you declare, this must be love. But in truth, this is not yet love. It is your unconscious at work. You are not seeing the person. You are seeing a part of yourself in them, a part long buried, neglected, or suppressed. The confident man who speaks without hesitation. He may not be who you love. It may be that his boldness mirrors your hidden desire to be unapologetic, to speak without fear, to take up space in a world that taught you to shrink. The nurturing woman whose warmth soothes your soul. She may not be the destination of your affection. She may simply reflect the inner mother you never knew you needed. Or perhaps she holds the emotional depth you were taught to hide. We do not fall in love with strangers. We fall in love with what they represent, symbols of what lies unclaimed within ourselves. This is the nature of projection. It is not deliberate. It is not conscious. It is the soul's attempt to find itself through another. But projections distort reality. They elevate the other into archetypal roles, the rescuer, the soulmate, the muse, the redeemer, and in doing so, they rob both people of truth. The beloved is no longer human, but a canvas painted by your unmet needs. And here lies the tragedy. As long as you are in projection, you are not in relationship. You are relating not to the person, but to a version of yourself wearing their face. The moment they break the illusion, when they act in contradiction to your fantasy, you call it betrayal or disillusionment. But it is not betrayal. It is reality knocking on the door of your unconscious. The romantic fantasy collapses, and now you must face what was always there. Not your soulmate, not your savior, but your shadow in disguise. And here is the deeper truth. We project not just our desires, but our wounds. The partner who abandons you, they may embody the parent who once turned away. The one who criticizes you harshly, they may echo the inner voice you've never questioned. Your pattern of love is a pattern of projection, the unconscious seeking resolution through repetition. Love, then, cannot begin in its pure form until projection dissolves. And projection dissolves only when you turn inward, when you ask, what am I truly seeing in them that is already in me? To love clearly, you must first see clearly, and to see clearly, you must be willing to confront what you have refused to integrate. Love does not flatter, love reflects. It does not show you what you want to see, it shows you what you need to see. And what you often need to see is not the beauty in the other, but the truth in yourself. The people you draw close to you are not random. They are mirrors, not always soft and romantic, but exact and uncompromising. They reflect what you carry in silence. They echo the parts of you you've buried in shame. They speak to the pieces you thought you could abandon and still be whole. You say, they made me feel unworthy. But perhaps they only stirred the unworthiness already sitting dormant in your soul. You say, they rejected me. But perhaps they only highlighted the rejection you've long been offering yourself. The truth is, we do not fear others seeing who we are. We fear that others will confirm what we secretly believe, that we are not enough. This is the function of the shadow. It is everything you repress to remain socially acceptable, emotionally safe, psychologically intact. It is every impulse, every vulnerability, Every hidden longing you decided somewhere along the way was too much or too dark to show the world. And so you split. You become who the world says you should be, and exile the rest. You smile when you want to scream. You give when you're empty. You stay silent when your soul wants to speak. But what is repressed does not disappear. It waits in the shadow, and the moment someone touches the right nerve, it erupts, not as clarity, but as projection, rage, jealousy, fear, neediness, obsession. We blame them for triggering us. But they are not the cause. They are the mirror. They simply reflect what we have not yet met in ourselves. Real intimacy, then, is not about closeness in the physical sense. It is about the courage to stand emotionally naked in front of another, knowing that love might not mean approval. It might mean confrontation. It might mean discomfort. It might mean seeing your rawest self reflected back in their eyes, and choosing not to run. Until you befriend your shadow, you will keep attracting those who expose it. You will call it bad luck, toxic love, or fate, but it is not fate. It is your unconscious saying, "See me, integrate me, heal me." The mirror shows you your unfinished work, and love is the light that shines directly on the work you're still refusing to do. We spend our lives avoiding pain, thinking healing lies in escape. We distract, we deny, we spiritualize, we numb. We call it moving on, staying strong, keeping busy. But beneath all these masks is a simple truth. We are terrified of our wounds. And yet what we avoid is what holds the key. Your wound is not your punishment. It is your path. It is not the thing that broke you. It is the place where you must enter yourself. The soul does not grow through comfort. It grows through confrontation, through the aching cracks in your identity, through the shattering of who you thought you were, through the sacred violence of becoming whole. You think love avoids you because you are unworthy. But in truth, love is waiting behind the very pain you refuse to touch. That heartbreak, it wasn't just a loss. It was a mirror to your deepest need for security, for connection, for the tenderness no one ever gave you. That betrayal, it wasn't just someone else's fault. It was the reawakening of an old wound, maybe from childhood, maybe ancestral. A wound that taught you love is dangerous, inconsistent, conditional, and yet you survive. You cover the wound with achievement, charm, silence. You build a life above it. But what is built above a wound will always be fragile. The wound will call you back, in your quietest moments, in the relationships that repeat patterns, in the longing that never goes away. Because healing does not mean the absence of pain. It means the presence of awareness. We are taught that love should feel good. But real love is also a summoning, a call to return to the places you once abandoned. It is not just romantic, it is alchemical. It does not complete you. It undoes you layer by layer until nothing is left but your raw, untouched self. And when the mask is gone, when the ego shatters and the persona fades, what's left is the one thing most people spend their lives avoiding: your true self. But that self was born in the wound. It is there, beneath the scar tissue, beneath the grief, beneath the stories you've told yourself to survive. To walk the path of love, you must first kneel at the altar of your pain, not to worship it, but to witness it. To say, "I see you, I will not run anymore," because until you sit with your own ache, you will expect someone else to carry it. Until you face the wound, you will turn your lover into your therapist, your friend into your parent, your partner into your rescuer. But no one else can walk you back into the place you left yourself. No one else can translate the ache that lives under your skin. Your pain is not in the way. It is the way. We long for peace, but we do not understand what peace demands. We long for love, yet refuse the tension that love brings. We speak of harmony, but only welcome one side of the symphony. And so we suffer not because love avoids us, but because we reject half of ourselves. We are born of duality, night and day, fire and water, masculine and feminine, strength and surrender, logic and intuition, the divine and the deeply human. But from the very beginning, we are taught to choose, to identify with one half of the whole. Be strong, not soft. Be kind, not wild. Be rational, not emotional. Be desirable, not too much. And so, unknowingly, we fracture. We amputate half of the soul in exchange for belonging. We become men who fear tenderness. We become women who silence their fire. We become spirits that are split. And then we wonder why love, which is the union of wholeness, never finds a home in us. Love, in its truest form, is not a fantasy of light. It is a crucible. It invites the collision of opposites. The masculine seeks the feminine, not just in body, but in energy, in essence. He longs for softness, not because he is weak, but because he has forgotten how to melt. And the feminine seeks the masculine, not as authority, but as presence to be held, not controlled, to be met, not managed. This union is not about gender. It is about archetype, inner polarities that live within every soul. When you suppress the feminine within, your intuition, your sensuality, your flow, you reject the lover who lives from the heart. When you silence the masculine within, your focus, your boundary, your rootedness, you repel the partner who offers direction and stability. The opposites do not cancel each other, they complete each other, and until you make peace with your own opposites, love will feel like a battlefield instead of a dance. You will swing between extremes, intensity and apathy, closeness and distance, obsession and avoidance. You will mistake volatility for passion, control for care, surrender for weakness. But real love is not found in the absence of conflict. It is born from the capacity to hold both, to sit in the storm without demanding immediate sunshine, to love someone in their fire without extinguishing your own flame, to witness your partner's chaos and not abandon your center, to offer your softness without apology and your boundaries without guilt. Wholeness is not about perfection. It is about integration. It is the sacred art of letting the lion and the lamb lie down in the same heart, letting the warrior and the poet speak the same truth, letting the lover and the sovereign share the same soul. And in that inner alchemy, something ancient awakens, something primal and holy, because love cannot live in fragments. It searches not for beauty or charm, but for completion. You have been taught to search outward, to seek the one who will complete you, to wait for the twin flame, the missing piece, the soulmate who will arrive like prophecy to stitch together the places you feel torn. But what if no one is missing? What if the soul you yearn for is the soul you refuse to meet within yourself? The journey of love begins not at the altar with another, but in the sanctuary of the self, not in the eyes of a lover, but in the mirror you avoid. This is the truth most cannot bear. Until you marry what is within, every romance will remain a search for something you're not willing to become. There is within you a divine duality, a masculine force, protective, present, focused, assertive. A feminine force, intuitive, receptive, nurturing, creative. You carry both, you always have, but culture, trauma, family, religion, these all conspire to fracture the self, to teach you that one side is worthy and the other must be silenced. Be strong, not sensitive. Be soft, not assertive. Be needed, but not needy. And so we split, and the split becomes suffering. We chase relationships that mirror this inner disunity. We cling to men to feel protected because we do not know how to protect ourselves. We pursue women to feel loved because we have never learned how to mother our own pain. We fall not in love, but in dependence, leaning on the other to hold what we are not holding within. And in doing so, we burden our partners with the responsibility of healing what we have not yet embraced. The inner marriage is not a concept. It is a rite of passage. It is the sacred reconciliation between the abandoned parts of yourself. It is learning to be the father you never had, to become the lover you've been waiting for, to hold your own emotions with the same care you give others, to speak your truth with the same power you crave from someone else. When the inner masculine and inner feminine no longer war, the soul begins to breathe. You stop needing to be rescued. You stop attracting people who wound you into awakening. You stop mistaking chaos for chemistry and pain for passion. Because now, you are home in yourself. And when you are home in yourself, you no longer seek love to fill a void. You allow love to arrive as a mirror, not a medicine. You attract not who you need, but who reflects the wholeness you've already made peace with. The inner marriage is a revolution. It is not loud. It is not performative. It is a quiet, holy union that takes place in the unseen chambers of your being. It is when the woman within you bows to her own power, and the man within you kneels before his own heart. It is the lover and the beloved, the king and the queen, the priest and the wild one, all choosing to stay. And this sacred union births a new kind of love, not one that clings or conquers, but one that,